Hello, all my fellow Astroneers. Today we're going to cover the list of planets in the Astroneer system so you can become better acquainted with them and perhaps to have the correct materials and items to take with you for better survivability. Now, in the game, anytime that you open it up or hit the escape key, you'll find that the toolbar pops up, and in the center would be a rocket that contains the Astropedia. There's quite a bit of information in here, but it's all pretty basic, so we're going to try to give you some additional information, perhaps to make your game a little bit better and a little more enjoyable. First thing we'll cover would be the planets themselves, and the first planet that you'll visit once you leave the space station would be Silva, which is a Terran planet, much like Earth. It has a nice atmosphere, temperate conditions, it's pleasant, and not very hazardous. There's plenty of organics, trees, plants, and things like that, and plenty of resources all around, both on the surface and down below in the cavern system. Silva is an easy difficulty. It's not very hard as long as you manage your air, and once you have a power system set up, there's not much else to think about there. It's also one of the primary places that people will begin their base projects, and perhaps even build one of their more larger bases there, simply because of the hydrogen, which is available for the hydrazine as long as you're combining it with ammonium. Silva's main resource is zinc. That is a useful item for some parts, but what I usually find is I'll go down and get one truckload or so, and that'll be about all I need. Zinc is used later on with some of the combination of materials for drill bits and power couplings, but or powered items, but it's certainly not as common as you would think, being the primary resource on your primary planet. Now, Silva itself has both medium and sun and wind, but I never seem to have any problem generating power there myself. Once you get the wind turbines going, you typically have power at night and solar during the day. So it's quite easy to maintain your power system. You can get yourself some batteries, and you're really set to go. Silva's a good place to really get your bearings. Like I said, it's not very hazardous, so you will find some plants that will spit poisons at you. Others will explode in your face and kill you. But as long as you keep a fair distance from them and use your terrain tool on them, you shouldn't have much trouble. Silva's also going to be the first planet you have to get off of, so make sure that you look out for that ammonium. Make sure you look out for the aluminum underground, and bring them both back, and get yourself a thruster and a shuttle so you can get the heck out of there and get to some of these other places we're going to talk about. Now, the first place that you're going to go to once you do have the ability to fly away would be probably De Solo, which is the moon of Silva. It's going to be one of the easiest places to go. And it's also going to have the next level resource, which is tungsten. Wolframite is going to be smelted, and you're going to get the tungsten out of it. And then you're going to be able to create drill mods and other items. Tungsten carbide, I believe, is the other item. So you're going to find your next level resource. Now, this is a moon, so there's no atmosphere, which means no wind, so don't expect to be getting any sort of wind generation going on there. But it is high sun, so bring yourself some solar arrays, and you'll be ready to go. I typically don't build a base on De Solo. I just go there for the resources, and then I'll pop back to someplace else, someplace that's better. Once you're actually there and you get underground, just head straight to the cavern. You should find plenty of tungsten. Fill your medium storage containers, I assume, at that point, and you're set to go. Once you're all packed up and you have all the resources that you can carry, it's typically straight back to Silva, so you can start your next level of tech progression. Now, as we move on, you're going to gain the ability to go to other planets and do other things, and you can always go wherever you choose. That's never a limit in this game. But you do want to make sure to bring the resources that you require, and some of them may be the places that you'll visit later. Once you've climbed up the tech tree a little bit higher, maybe have some better technologies, definitely some battery storage and definitely some power generation technologies, all going to become very useful to you in the future. And if you do happen to leave and go to your next destination, you can always choose Calidor. Calidor is a medium difficulty planet. It's kind of like Mars. It's arid, it's sun-beaten, and very hot is what it says, hot and dry. There's plenty of sun, obviously. If it's going to be hot and dry, you're going to be able to pop those solar arrays out and generate as much power as you need, except at night. So do make sure you bring yourself some batteries if you're planning on staying, or if you're planning on doing any sort of regular resource production. The primary resource on Calidor is the malachite, which becomes the copper, and again the wolframite, which becomes the tungsten. Another item would be sulfur here, which is kind of key. It is only used in the making of explosive powders, but it is one of the first places you may want to go to retrieve that if that's something you're looking to do. Calidor has very high sun, so like I say, just make sure you have your power system and you're set to go. One of the key features of this particular planet is it's kind of barren on the top. There aren't going to be as many vessels that have come down, probes that have crashed, or previous folks who have abandoned equipment there. So you may find yourself without any additional or extras. So try to bring what you need when you're there, and perhaps you don't stay very long or build a base. Another one of your options, and a very nice one at that, would be Vicinia. Vicinia is actually the exotic planet in the system. It's very nice. It's one of the only places to get the color purple or shades of purple. So if you do go there and you have the ability, make sure you bring the terrain analyzer so that you're able to pick up some of those colors and bring them back to Silva and paint with them. Vicinia's greatest asset would be the fact that it has lithium. And while batteries tend to be a little higher tier, especially the large battery, you can also grab the small. Small takes 1 lithium, and the large takes 2. And with that, you'll be able to start storing power. Now, for the small batteries, I tend to find them all over the place, and I don't even typically open that up in the tech tree. But I do open up the large battery, and when I do that, I've got to have plenty of lithium to go ahead and set that up. 3 or 4 batteries at 2 each, and you're going to need at least 6. That would only leave 2 more on a medium storage container. So make sure that you go there for your lithium needs, and make sure you get your purple shades of color if you're looking to build and make anything in particular. The secondary resources there is also titanite, which obviously becomes titanium, but titanium's a little higher tier item. You're not going to actually need that early on in the game until you've progressed a little bit and set up a research chamber and started making some of those bites and opening some of the tech tree there. So, keep that in mind. It's a good place to go. It's one of the places where you can get argon. Argon is necessary for steel making, so this could be one of the places that you're looking to get to pretty quick if you're looking to make steel and move up the tech tree in that way. You have some options with the tech tree, so each game may be a little different on how you go about it, but Vicinia is definitely one of those places you can join. The sun there is low, so you're going to want to make sure to not rely upon solar. But the wind is high, so you're going to find that wind turbines are useful. They're going to power your batteries at night. They're going to run your equipment during the day, and you should be set to go. It's also one of the prettier planets, the most exotic and the nicest. So get yourself over to Vicinia and see how much fun you can have on that one. Now, the moon of Vicinia would be known as Novus, and it's pretty similar. Vicinia tends to have a more defined shape and softer soils. Novus itself, though, is a little more difficult because while it has the same shades of color that Vicinia has, the further you go down, the harder it becomes. The rock or the soil is harder to mine, and you're going to need to make sure to bring some of the drill mods. That's where that tungsten comes into play. and perhaps even moving up to the Drill Mod 2. One of the main resources that you're going to gain from this particular planet or moon would be hematite, which is really nice because that's going to become your iron. Iron is going to make steel, and steel is used for many, many, many things, including some of the silos require up to 3 and 4 of iron and steel in order to work. So you're definitely going to be visiting one of the two, Vicinia or Novus, pretty quickly once you're on to the next tier of the tech tree after tungsten, and probably just a little before you're working on the titanium. Now the secondary resource is lithium here, and you can certainly grab that to start making batteries. Batteries and iron and steel all tend to come around the same time, depending on how you open that tech tree, like I say. But the beautiful thing about Novus and its moon, or the moon, is that it's both high sun and high wind. So no matter what you choose to do, you can always go to this location, bring any type of power generation, and you're probably going to be pretty well set. In addition, you're going to find plenty of items that you need. There's always there's plenty of resources as long as you have the drill mod in order to gain access. Now, another thing that comes up for this planet would be methane. Methane. With that, you would that's actually used for creating silicon. And it's one of the few sources for the methane. So you can also grab some on Atrox, but Atrox is quite a bit harder. You typically need to be a little higher on the technology tree to go there safely. So Novus may be a secondary option for you, so that you have the ability to get the items that you need and progress to where you want to be. It does have that thin atmosphere, which gives you that wind power, so do make sure that you come with your wind turbines, and you shouldn't have any trouble. Moving on from there, you can always choose to go to Glacio. Glacio is listed as hard difficulty, which it can be. There's quite a bit of hazardous plants and things there, but as long as you know how to handle them as far as distance and your terrain tool, you really shouldn't have any trouble. Now, the primary item on Nova or on Glacio would be the Titanite. That's going to give you titanium, and also there's the hematite, and then finally argon. Both the hematite and the argon are used in making steel. So that's definitely going to be one of the places you're going to want to visit. Titanium is with the high tier item as well. It's going to get you into the titanium alloys, which then get you into nanocarbon alloy, which is the holy grail of the game. So one of the first things, if you do plan to go there, this is actually one of the planets most people will choose to set up quite a large base, have atmosphere condensers, good power system, really get things producing so that you're able to start making the titanium, the iron, the steel, and then, like I say, the nanocarbon alloy. One of the drawbacks of Glacio, of course, would be that it has very low sun and very low wind. So you're going to need some sort of power generation. You may be looking into, in the future, like the RTG, so that you have some very constant and high power. But you're going to need quite a few, depending on what you plan to do. So be prepared for that. If you do happen to go there a little earlier, make sure you bring at least an organic generator of some kind, something you can use to generate power while you're there. Because your sun and your wind, they're going to be very low. You'll probably be standing around quite a bit of time if you don't bring that with you. So definitely head over there. But like I say, the argon, hematite, and titanium, all very good, all very key. All heavy resources that are going to be used in the future. So get used to going to Glacio. Make sure that you start parking some resources there and getting things set up, because you're definitely going to want a good base on there. And then, as mentioned before, there's the final planet, the irradiated planet of Atrox, listed as very hard. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Nothing's really hard in this game if you're prepared, for sure. So don't be foolish with your life, and you shouldn't have too much issue. Now, Aatrox does have some of the minor resources that you would find on every other planet, but it does not have a main resource. The reason that you would go to Aatrox is to pick up the gases. Aatrox is the only planet that has helium. Helium is going to be highly useful later on. It's going to help you get into the high tier items, and it's needed for the final tier of technology. There's also nitrogen, methane, and sulfur, so you can basically go to Aatrox, park a shuttle with an atmosphere condenser on board, set up a slight power system in order to generate electricity, and you'll be set to go. You'll come home with loads and loads of gases, and each one of those gas containers typically have 3 or 4, up to 5 uses, and in those uses then you can create particular items. Aatrox does have very aggressive flora as it's listed. Basically that just means there's plants there that'll kill you. The plants will spit at you constantly and explode. If you try to dig them up, they explode in your face as well, so keep your distance. One of the main issues with Aatrox, again, is much like the other planets, is it has both low sun and low wind. So again, you're going to want to bring some sort of generation, maybe power generation, maybe RTGs. There's plenty of organics there, so you'll certainly be able to zip those up. You can make carbon if you have the medium generator with a smelter. It shouldn't be too difficult, but I don't actually tend to stray too far from my shuttle when I land on Aatrox. I just go there, kind of wait around, standing there, waiting on my atmosphere condensers to work, and then I will load up my shuttle, and I'm back to my other base, my other planets. Not a lot of reason to stay on Aatrox. It has maybe a few colors you're not able to gain normally, maybe the yellows, and that's really about it. Aatrox isn't a very friendly planet, and you're not going to find much there besides the gases that you're needing. So that kind of covers the list of planets that you're going to be able to go to, and the items that you're going to need there. Maybe what kind of power you're going to expect. Just kind of a basic overview. The same information is available in the game, like I say, through the Astropedia. So if you have any issues, you can always refer back there. But that should give you a general idea where you need to go. And later on, we'll move into some additional information to try to help you out there. Thank you for watching.